Hello, it's Chaplain73 here. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another interview. Today I'm joined by Claire from Atha Moon. Hello, Claire.
Hello, Darren.
And I'm just going to be asking her a few questions about who she is, what she does, and about Atha Moon. So I will crack on with the first question if you're ready, Claire. Tell me a bit about you, who you are, where you're based, and what do you do?
Okay, so my name is Claire. I head up a little, I don't know whether you call it a business or some kind of community. It's kind of somewhere in between the two, called Atha Moon. I started it in the summer as a response to all the hideousness of lockdown. It got to a point where I'd got so, I don't know, depressed from trying to teach my children that I decided I need an outlet for myself. So I started doing painting and mandalas originally, and then I decided I was going to start writing a book because a friend of mine was like, I'm going to be doing a course on how to write books. Do you know anyone who can do, like, who was interested? And I was like, okay, that's something I really, really want to do. And I've tried a couple of times before and sort of failed. So I got into that part of it. And then I was like, oh, perhaps I need a blog. So that could be like where I could practice some of my writing and reach out to people. So that ended up being another thing I've added in. And then I've also then made some amazing connections to people like you online on Instagram. And it's become more of a kind of artists, creators community thing that I'm starting to build. Which is really exciting. So it's become less about me and my art and more about building community with other creators and stuff like that. I'm based in Cambridgeshire. It's really flat. I don't like flat. It's really landlocked. I don't like landlocked. I don't live where I'd like to live and where I think would be inspiring. I'm actually from Weston-super-Mare originally, which is also probably not the most inspiring place in the world. No offense to anyone who lives there. But it does have a really cool hill, which you can climb up. And not far away, there are other hills that you can also climb up, which are beautiful in the Mendips. And you've also got the sea. Anyone who lives in Weston-super-Mare or has visited, it's not like a blue sparkling sea. It's a bit muddy, but it's still sea.
We used to refer to it as Weston-super-Mud when we were kids.
Yeah, it does get cool. So I really miss the sea and I really miss the hills, but I make the most of it somehow or other, because I do find nature really inspiring for the way I sort of work with my art and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like I have a whole different area of different things that I do, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly how it all fits together. So yeah, I think I've answered all of the questions.
Yeah. I mean, Weston-super-Mare's got a special place in my heart as well, because I've painted there several times, and
yeah,
and I went to see the Banksy thing there as well, which was
cool.
Great.
Yeah.
So tell me about Atha Moon. Where did the name come from, firstly, because it's quite an interesting name, and what's it all about?
So Atha Moon came about because I was sort of mulling over a few different ideas. And I mean, the whole art thing came about in the first place because I've made this mandala, which I will just quickly go like this, for my studio. Because I was decided that I wanted to have a studio at home. So I'm in my spare bedroom at the moment. And I decided through lockdown I needed to do exercise because I was starting to go a bit crazy with the whole homeschooling thing. And my friend was running yoga classes, and I was like, I need a space, and this room's like not being used. So I decided to take over the spare room, and I turned it into a little sort of yoga studio dance room space. And I was like, I need something for the walls. And I was looking on Etsy for mandalas, and they were like £100 for a sticker thing. And I thought, I can make something better than that for less money. So that's what I decided to do. So I made that thing to start with. And then my friend, we were doing this like online yoga class, and she was like, oh, what's that amazing mandala you've made? So I was like, okay, I'll make one for you as well. So I made one for her, and then she was like, oh, we should put this on Etsy. So I set up an Etsy store, and I was trying to think of a name because I didn't want to be on as myself, because I was like, well, who the hell am I? So we were chucking some names around together, and I said, I was like looking at Sanskrit stuff because of the connection with mandalas and that kind of yoga side of stuff. And Atha means now, and Moon is like got a feminine energy around it. And I just really like that sort of idea of having, I mean, I'm so like, I have to do something now. I can't leave it till tomorrow. There's no point leaving it till next month. Let's just get it done. I'm very much of that kind of nature, and my friend is very similar. So we found that whole kind of concept of Atha and living in the moment and just kind of getting on with it, like really inspiring. And as I say, the moon side of it, I just love that sort of feminine quality. And it doesn't matter if you're male or female, all of us have a bit of feminine quality about us. And that sort of, yeah, the qualities of caring and nurturing and all of that kind of stuff, I felt was quite resonating as well. So that's how the name came about. And as I was saying earlier, the whole concept of it starting off being an art thing, which was about me and my art, has kind of growing into something that's more about community and sharing and supporting other artists and creators through the blog, getting them involved in the blog so people can guest blog. I have somebody guest blogging every week, which I love because it gives me an insight into their little world, and I really love that. And also a bit of a platform for them selling their stuff too, because a lot of people who blog then end up getting like increases in sales and things like that, which I think is really amazing. And I'm looking to expand it into perhaps a little forum for people to talk about, I don't know, I have a beading question, or I have an art question, or where do I buy these supplies from, or, you know, just general chit chat amongst creatory type people. And I'm also doing some other collaborations with other people. So we're looking at doing a online creativity workshop, me and one of the other creators in our little community. And doing interviews. So yesterday I did an interview with an artist in New York, which was like really cool. I'm in Cambridgeshire. It's very flat. It's like I'm the antipathy of coolness. I wear dungarees. Quite middle class. I'm white, you know, like he was like this cool kind of R&B artist who had a really cool vibe going on in New York, and I was like, this is quite interesting. But you know, we get on good really well, so there's other collaborations we might look into. And yeah, so it's just growing into this community side of things rather than it just being about a few bits of art that I produce. And I'm really excited about that. I love it. I love this connection with people that I get, and that's kind of what gives me the impetus to keep going with it, really.
That's fab. I mean, it's a great success story of what could have been a bit of a write-off of a year, really.
Yeah.
With regards to the blogging side of things, how long have you actually been blogging for? Did you blog prior to this, or is this your first blog? And
it's my first blog. It's my second website, because I used to teach Pilates a few years ago, so I just rehashed that website actually and stuck a new domain name on, which was surprisingly easy. But it's the first time I've been really blogging, and I started that at the beginning of September, so it's not been very long. Wow. But within a couple of weeks, I'd got the website set up. It really increased the following on Instagram. You know, we've got quite a few people now following the blog through the email list. I've got people booked up until March for the weekly guest blog spots. So that was really, really successful. I was like really surprised at how people were like, yeah, I'd love to give my time and stuff for free, you know. I was just like, that's really lovely. And I think that's what the whole thing about it is at the moment. It's all completely free, and I'm giving them a platform and they're kind of getting involved with my stuff, and it feels very sort of supportive and collaborative, and just, yeah, everybody at the moment, like, I don't know, we've all been through a tricky year. It's all felt a little bit like mentally challenging at times. And so it's really nice to be able to give something back to people. But also, I don't know what you find with Instagram, but every day somebody seems to message me saying, if you pay me this much money, I will get you more followers. And I'm like, so it's really nice to just be able to offer something totally free to people. Whether
I think that's a common experience.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I don't want to give you any of my money, stop asking me for money. So yeah, that's been a very interesting experience.
And what advice would you give to somebody else thinking of starting a blog? Really work well?
I think you need to find something interesting to talk about, because people aren't going to read a blog that's boring. And be really true about what you're sort of talking about as well, and try and like use your own voice on the page, which is partly why I really like working with other people, because I do a little bit of editing just for sort of like, I don't know, spellings and typos and stuff like that. But I try to make sure that it's their voice that's coming through. So it's really different each time everyone sort of talks to or listens or reads their stuff. So yeah, try and be really honest about what you're talking about. Use your own tone of voice. Try not to like copy other people, because they're not kind of being authentic then, I suppose. And something else that another sort of coach I've been working with, who's also a sort of friend, was saying to me is like, get more comfortable with video. And we were talking earlier about how I'm like, oh, I don't really like it. But I've done like a 7-day challenge where I videoed myself every day talking at camera, and it was like, oh, this is hideous. But by the end of the week, I was like, actually, this is quite fun. It's quite a nice way to record stuff without having to type it all. But it also gives people like a real visibility into what you're really like as well.
Yeah.
So kind of mixing up the different mediums as well, and giving people like definitely more of a raw side of yourself. So it doesn't have to be too kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Curated. Yeah,
Definitely. I think we live in an age now, I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, where people want that instant connection, that instant gratification. They don't want to have to read through something and find the information. They just want to be entertained, and I think that video goes some way towards that.
Yeah.
I know I'm quite a visual person, so I like seeing things, and I like being nosy and finding out stuff about people. So
me too.
This works really well for me.
Yeah.
So you have guest bloggers, you mentioned earlier. How often are you blogging?
I try to do like 2 or 3 things a week.
Right.
I mean, if I had more time, because I also have like a full-time job and I've got 2 kids and I also have about 3 other different jobs. So I teach dancing on a Tuesday, and like I have a yoga class that I do, and there's quite a lot of stuff going on. And I'm also writing a book, which takes up hours of time every day. So if I had more time, I might do more, but then I think, I don't know, do people really want to hear from me every day? Probably not. So I tend to try and do a blog of my own every week. I have a guest blog every week, and then I might do some video content of some kind, either to replace my blog or as well as, depending on how inspired I'm feeling that week or how much time I have, or anything I feel like that's going on that maybe people might be interested in. But it's all about the creativity space. I don't get involved in any other political that's going on at the moment. I avoid anything that's not kind of nice creativity type stuff.
Probably the best way. So you have your guest bloggers on once a week, regularly writing for you or for the blog. How have your audience responded to that?
They've loved it. So what's really nice about having the guest blog is that it's like a sort of collaboration between the both of us. So obviously I'll promote it on my channels and they'll promote it on their channels. So we're kind of cross-seeding a bit of audience stuff that maybe other people might have not noticed something that they're doing otherwise. So that's really, really lovely. And quite often I encourage all of my email list to email me back. So that all you have to do is just reply and just like ping me a quick message. People reply in comments and stuff on some of the postings as well. So I want it to be really two-way. So it's not like I'm just throwing stuff out at people. I invite people to kind of respond as well. And I've had loads of lovely comments. People have asked other questions. People have bought stuff from people that have posted. People have, asked to connect with them in some way. There's collaborations coming out between someone and a guest blogger, not necessarily me. And that's absolutely fine as well, because I'm just like, I feel like I'm a conduit for something rather than I have to be involved in everything. It's been lovely, really good.
That's fab. I've really liked talking with you today and learning a bit more about that. I have been and read a few of the blogs, a couple of the guest blogs and things, and I think the blog itself looks as though it's a really well established blog. So I was quite surprised to hear that you've only been doing it since September.
No, it's taken off really quickly. And I think it's been because I work really hard at building community and meaningful relationships with Instagram. So Instagram is pretty much the only thing I really use. I don't use Facebook too much. I can't get my head into Pinterest. I don't understand it at all. And I'm like, I just cannot learn anything new because I've already had to learn how to run a website and la la la.
Yeah.
I don't like Twitter. I find it too negative and I'm scared of it. And YouTube, I'm kind of, I have a channel. I've posted hundreds of videos on there previously when I used to teach Pilates, but I've never made it fully public because again, I'm slightly scared of video, but anyway. So yeah, the way people have responded and the connections I'm making through Instagram with I just find that that's the most meaningful way of utilizing it really.
Yeah.
And I find that's working really, really well. And it makes people feel special. I feel like there's a nice connection with the people that I work with and invite them into this community that we're building. And it feels like something actually quite meaningful. So yeah.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you very much for spending some time talking to me today. It's been lovely to hear about your journey so far and onwards and upwards and all that. Hopefully we'll see a bit more from Atha Moon and yourself and maybe see some videos on YouTube. Yeah, good luck with it all and thanks for spending the time with me today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for letting me be on here. It's been really a pleasure.
No worries. And I look forward to doing my blog bit on your blog. So,
absolutely. That's coming out in a couple of weeks, I think, isn't it? So yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks so much.
So that's it for today. Thank you. If you've liked what you've seen today and if you like what I'm doing on my channel, please subscribe below. And that's all I've got to say today. Thank you.